this video series, the Ascendant Project, is laid out in a single narrative. You might compare it to a book or television series. And like those, if you are just starting to view these videos now, I would ask you to stop, go back to episode 1, and start from there. Everything that I talk about in each video draws on ideas that I've presented in earlier videos. It's a single narrative, it's a single project that's all meant to come together in a coherent whole. So if you're just jumping in right now, then you're basically jumping in 3/4 of the way through a book or 3/4 of the way through a television series. So that being said, please watch the whole thing in order. So, in previous videos, I've laid out my description. It's the description of a particular cycle, the human social cycle, and also a description of the history of the knowledge of that cycle. In addition to that, I've laid out where I believe we are at the current time in that cycle, and that we are on the cusp of a momentous shift from one Varna or worldview dominating our society and our world into a new one. Now, that shift does not happen instantly, much like the shift between colors in the rainbow. It happens in a gradient. However, as the length of these ages has shortened, so has the amount of time that it takes for the shift to be fully evident. I've said that the twin concepts of debt and automation are bringing us from out of the dominant Vaishya or merchant era into a new Shudra or commoner era. In the preceding videos, or in the next videos, I am going to lay out my personal prescription. That is, the actions that I am personally taking in order to take advantage of this situation. Every crisis was at one time an opportunity. Now, I'm not talking about the crisis opportunity relationship that, for instance, the mayor of Chicago, current mayor of Chicago, and one-time chief of staff of the Obama administration, Rahm Emanuel, his famous quote is, "Never let a good crisis go to waste." That's not what I'm talking about. Whenever these shifts happen in the human social cycle, those who have not foreseen the shift and have not been able to prepare and take advantage of the shift will be exposed to a crisis. We might say it's something like Noah and his ark. For Noah, the coming flood was not a crisis, but for all those individuals without an ark, it most certainly was. And Noah clearly had enough time to prepare himself and his family. In fact, he had enough time to gather 2 of each animal and stick them in his ark before the floodwaters came. He also clearly had enough resources to survive for I believe it was 500 and something days that this flood occurred. So he was well prepared. It wasn't a crisis for Noah. And the time that we're approaching is no different. There are going to be individuals who take advantage and prepare and even thrive and prosper. And there are going to be individuals who, either through ignorance of the coming shift itself or through willful denial, simply do nothing. Now, they may also prosper, but it'll be luck and not preparedness that give them that prosperity. So, I'm not admonishing you to do anything. My lot in this situation doesn't change, dependent upon what you do. I'm not asking you to purchase anything. I'm not able to make any financial gains off your decision one way or the other. However, when I learned this information, and when it became clear to me, and when I decided what moves I was going to take, my own conscience would not allow me to keep it to myself. Just not that type of person. Maybe some people are, but it would have hung over my head like a sword of Damocles. It's just not who I am. And so, as opposed to simply sharing it with family and friends one at a time, I figured this would be the most expedient way for me to lay out my thesis and lay out my own personal plans one time and just share that with others. And modern technology allows me to do that. And since I was making it, why not share it with as many people as would like to hear it? So, this project is called the Ascendant Project. And I chose the word ascendant because I think it exemplifies exactly what this whole series is about. So ascendant has two meanings. In astrology, you may have heard something like, I'm a Cancer with a Scorpio rising. I'm a Gemini with a Leo rising. Your rising zodiac sign is an influential energy upon you. So while your overall energy may be Gemini, there are aspects of your character and personality, and also of your future life, that will be affected by the energy of, say, Leo, if Leo is your rising sign. And another term for the rising sign is ascendant. So if you are a Gemini with a Leo rising, you are Gemini with a Leo ascendant. And since we're talking about a cycle represented in this form, and we're talking about a series of archetypes, a series of worldviews, varnas, mindsets, there is a new ascendant mindset coming into view. And while that's the first meaning of ascendant, the other meaning of ascendant is ancestor. Because since this is a cycle that has traveled through time, this project is truly about drawing on the knowledge of our ascendants. We are their descendants. They are our ascendants, our ancestors. And so, to find the solution, as it were, to find the opportunity, to find the set of actions that we can take to take advantage of the move from Vaishya into Shudra, all we need do is look to our Shudra ascendants. Because if this is a cycle, then the message and the information about what steps to take can be seen in the steps taken as the cycle moved through previously. Now, one thing that I want to stress And I have said this, but I want to make it explicitly clear. We are not talking about revolution. I want to make this explicitly clear. In the off chance that somehow these ideas get picked up and some individual or group decides that they're going to use these powerful concepts to lead groups of people to overthrow the current systems of power. That is revolution. That is not the answer. It is not necessary, it is not useful, and it is not economical. It is self-serving to the ego of any individual who would style themselves as a revolutionary leader. The answer and the way to take advantage of the movement of the cycle is as it has always been. It is individual evolution. We are not trying to turn back the tides. We are not trying to change the tides. We are merely grabbing our surfboard, paddling out, and riding the waves. This is not revolution. This is an understanding of our own evolution and making a choice to evolve into that new thing, into that new coming species, before the choice is no longer yours. Because, as we know, and history has shown, just as our species pushed out the Neanderthal, and they are no more, so will this new species, so will this new mindset push out the old. It is a foregone conclusion. It has happened before. The only difference now is that we can see it occurring and that we can actually make some choices and take some actions. I want that to be heard, and I want that to be understood. Before I move forward with my own personal prescription for myself, it's for me. I want you to absorb the description that I've given. I want you to add to it. I want you to research more. I want you to study more, because there's more to it. As we said, the knowledge of a cycle expands and expands and expands the more people are thinking about it. Expand it. Don't just take my prescription. Develop your own that comes through your own understanding and your own experience. And if mine can be a great starting point, then fantastic. But this is not dogma. There is no right way. There is no right way to take advantage of this situation. There are as many ways to take advantage and prosper as there are human beings on this planet. So, in the coming videos, I'm going to share my own thoughts and my own path. And that path, honestly, has been formulating for almost 20 years now in my life. Almost 20 years. And a lot of it is drawn on my own experience. Doesn't make it qualitatively better. Just makes it qualitatively mine. So, if you've gotten this far and you would like to discuss, perhaps before even seeing my actions and my solution, if you'd like to lay out your own and discuss that, please do. This is a conversation, an ever-evolving conversation. So let's have it. If you want to have it with me, facebook.com/VinArmani.